beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Stepping into Soul Power. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, the intuitive psychiatrist. And today, friends, I'm beyond thrilled to introduce a truly remarkable guest. She is a fourth-generation intuitive medium, one of the world's leading experts in medical intuition and mediumship. Not only that, but she's an award-winning author, gifted teacher, has traveled the world, is empowering others to harness their intuitive and healing abilities. Her teachings have transformed lives. Not only that, but she's got a background in healthcare as a registered nurse, specializing in mental health, and is certified in clinical hypnotherapy, past life regressions, life between life regressions through the Michael Newton Institute. She's truly dedicated her life to guiding people towards healing and to helping them unlock their true intuitive potential. Tina Zion, I'm truly honored to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Bless your heart. What an introduction. Thank you so much. I tried to soak some of that into my own heart there. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It really is a pleasure because you're doing good things in the world. You're doing good things.
I hope so.
and your journey it's inspiring. But some of our listeners may be a little bit curious to hear a little bit more about it. And if you could just, for people who are not familiar, tell them a little bit about yourself, like how you discovered your intuitive gifts and what led you down this path of medical intuition and mediumship.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess I was born, maybe I'd say, I've never said it this way, but I guess I would say that I was born into this path of mediumship and intuition and medical intuition, because a lot of people have one or two intuitives or mediums in their family. Mm-hmm. I had both my father's side and my mother's side were very active in the spiritualist church. Probably, let me think, 3 of them were very active in doing readings for people. Mm-hmm. And as a little kid, we were expected to be intuitive. We never even had a class about it, or no one ever talked about it. But we were also expected to perceive deceased relatives. And if we did, as little kids, we'd say, oh, we saw Grandma Marie and things like that. And it would be no big deal. And everyone would probably say, well, of course you did. And then they'd go on to say, did she have her leopard skin boots on today when she came? Because she was pretty flashy and wonderful. And she's with me many, many times. And I love to bring up her leopard skin boots. So I didn't have a class. I just had an environment. Now, a lot of people, one of the key things I like to share is we didn't have any special gift, and I don't have a special gift, but what we had was just a normalcy, that this was normal to have a foot in the physical and a foot in the non-physical at the exact same time. So that's, I guess, how I would respond to your question.
And so you have a really interesting background, a unique perspective of working in both healthcare setting and then as a teacher of medical intuition. How do you see intuition playing a role in the healing process, especially like in the clinical environment?
It truly, truly has a place. But most physicians, nurses, all the clinical staff that it takes in a office complex or in a hospital area, that they are all using their intuition, but people don't really realize it. In fact, I think mostly I teach people how to notice the very, very subtle. Mm-hmm. And so, when people staff people are working in the hospitals, they don't realize that when they walk into an exam room or the emergency room or something, they have gut instincts, and that's a common word for it, gut instincts. So really, I think most of the time I'm just helping people and teaching people how to notice their instincts and how to notice that. But to address your question too about the medical field, I have, and this surprises people, in my live and in person and on my mentoring classes on Zoom and things like that, I have a lot of physicians, male and female, that come to my courses. I have nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, physical therapists, all kinds of people are coming, and pretty soon during a break or something, they'll come up to me and they'll say, I don't really want anyone to know, but I'm a physician, and I said, oh, that's fine. And I try to make it normal for them and tell them lots of physicians come to my classes, lots of nurses and tech people and massage therapists and all kinds of people. And I want to help them to feel normal about it too. Yeah, I really do.
Well, that's beautiful. There is, in all of your roles, it sounds like you have seen the, mentoring people as well as teaching, as well as you're writing about it, and you've seen people in person and practiced. And so you've seen a variety of challenges that people have faced on their healing journeys. From your experience, what are some of the most common emotional, energetic blocks that kind of prevent people from really connecting with their intuition, their soul's wisdom?
People always think intuition, like I already mentioned, is a special gift that only a few have in the world. And I'm telling you, we all have it. So they don't give themselves any credit that they are also very naturally intuitive. And so that really gets in the way of people, and they're fascinated. People are really fascinated with intuition. They seem to be very fascinated with mediumship. They're very fascinated with medical intuition. And so it all kind of fits together. I do have courses that are very directed to those different things, but different categories, but they all blend together. It's like the medical intuition didn't happen until I was about, I don't know, almost 40, I think, 35, 40 years old. And suddenly I was perceiving inside of this woman's colon and then her large intestine, and found a grouping of very cancerous polyps. Now, I'm not licensed to diagnose, but we intuitives, what we can do is we can describe it. We can tell the person the location. We can describe it in its color, its size, what shape it was in. Hers had like 5 fingers of polyps. And so we can give all of that detail. And I can't tell you how many people I have sent from my office when I was doing readings and healings. Gosh, I would send them to the emergency room, because to me, what I do and what I teach is blended in with Western medicine. I think that's why doctors and nurses, come to my classes. So I don't know if I answered your question or not,
No,
but I hope so.
you did. You did. You did.
Okay.
You did. I think I love that you're helping people to realize the intuitiveness, that intuitive nature that they have within themselves, and really empowering them to
Yes.
To give credit where credit is due.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm wondering, because you're a medical intuitive and you're also teach mediumship as well, and I'm wondering how those two, how you've used those two together, and how you've helped them. Well, I guess how you've seen them help other people heal.
Yes. Yes. Boy, that's actually a complicated question with a complicated, I think, answers, but
Okay.
they do blend together, because when you're working as a medical intuitive, that we're not just focusing on the human body, the
Mm-hmm.
physical body, we're focusing also on the energy field of that person.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at, negative patterns that they keep repeating. We're perceiving relationships that are troubling. And so it's every aspect of really a human's life. And so I really teach that. And then what I hope to do with every single session, and what I hope to have my students understand, is that every single session that they have doing medical intuition or mediumship, to bring some sort of positive change or a release or a relief for your client. In other words, those might be some words that really mean healing. So I really want a positive change in some way, no matter why they're there or what's going on. And that's really always my goal. And that's my goal when I teach people how to do this as well.
Wow. And so you're juggling. It sounds like you've got multiple different roles. You're an author. You're
Mm-hmm.
teaching. You're mentoring. And so I right now for many people who are experiencing, some a little bit of turbulence, some unpredictability is going on in the world. There've been natural disasters, and there are a lot of people I can talk about as a psychiatrist. I've seen a lot of patients are coming in just feeling uncertain and anxious,
Yes.
or just scattered, trying to find their footing. Um, and so I wonder, uh, what how do you stay centered through all of this, all the stuff going on, and
Mm.
are there tips, are there strategies that you've taught, to help other healers and those seeking healing, um,
Yes.
in these chaotic times?
Yes. No one's asked me that before, so I find
Oh,
that wonderful, actually.
okay.
One of the things I hope I get across to people when I do a class or individuals or whatever is I really hope people understand that we're not just a physical body, that the aliveness in us is actually our soul, or the aliveness is the energy of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want people to understand that they are an energy being also, and that they can direct, and I have multiple ways to teach them how to do that, that we can direct our energy, and all we have to do is think it, and the energy will follow. And there is some science that is showing this now. We just think it and the energy will follow, because our thoughts are, every thought that we have, or every word within a thought, has an electrical signal that
Mm-hmm.
rushes through our body, our energy field, out into the room, out into the universe. And so one of the things too I teach people is get in charge of the energy being that you are,
Mm-hmm.
and to realize that it will do what you ask it to do. And we can power up our energy. And I do it, gosh, when I'm really busy, I'll do this kind of powering up with the human toroidal field. I'll sometimes do it 3 or 4 times a day, because it only takes, energy is instant. So it only takes a couple of minutes. So I teach people about that. So that if we work with ourselves as an energy being, then it applies to all kinds of chaos that is going around us. It applies to, I think that's why I'm doing as well as I am at my age, is that I work very, very directly with the energy being that I am.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Taking charge of your energy, taking
Yes.
responsibility and being very direct and
Yeah.
intentional in how you focus your energy.
That's a great word to use, in fact, intentional. And a lot of times I will use that, and I'll use be deliberate too.
Mm.
Deliberately be aware of what you're doing, who you are, what your energy is doing, and direct it towards health, direct it towards calmness, give it direction.
Yes. And so I guess another question that I had is that there are, everyone's a little bit different in
Yeah.
how connected they might feel to their, or even just understanding that concept of like um, energy, that we are energy, we have an energy body. Are there any resources, and you teach classes, but there any books? Are there any other resources that they can kind of seek out, tap in to have a better understanding of themselves on
Mm.
that level?
Mm. Well, I'll tell you who comes to mind besides my own books, um, because I have medical intuition books. I have 3 of those, and I have one, Be Your Own Medical Intuitive to work on yourself. But who I love to really tell people about is Gary Schwartz.
Hmm.
And he has, oh my gosh, I don't even know, maybe 7 or 8 or 9 books out now. I love his older ones. And he is a Harvard trained scientist and was a department head of Yale. So he has a lot of credibility. And that helps people realize, oh, wait a minute, there is something to this. Maybe it is real because here's this Harvard, Yale scientist. And what he's doing, and he describes what he finds and what he keeps finding in his books, he's trying to prove that the a living part of us, the conscious living part of us, never dies, and that it does continue on. And so I don't recall that he uses the word medium for it, but he
Mm.
does a lot of research with people who, and I've met him since, so I love that. But he's really trying to prove it. He gets a lot of flack, I hear, about this, but he's showing some evidence. And I love it when science and what I call the ooh wah wah,
Yeah.
when they come together. I like that a lot.
It is beautiful. Yeah, there is there people are really interested in it's so wild how things are changing in recent years, because I think people have become more and more open to mediumship, to
I
talk.
know.
Yes, yes,
I
and
agree. I agree. People are not stunned like they used to be.
yes, yes, talking openly about it. And I know that you have been doing not only just mentorship, but you're also have an upcoming book
Oh,
regarding
mhm.
mediumship.
Yes, it's supposed to be out hopefully October 14th. And in fact, when we are finished here, I'm going to get back to responding to my editor.
Oh,
So that makes it pretty real there too. But it's a book about the reality and what's going on in the non-physical world. So it's a book directed towards mediumship. And I've titled it Healing Ghosts, Haunted Places, and non-physical beings. So, yeah, and people are yearning for that. In fact, I'm getting
yeah.
a lot of interest already about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I absolutely see that, and I wonder for you, what was your inspiration behind writing that book?
Ooh, that book in particular?
Yeah,
That's a good question. Um, for many, many, many years, because I've been doing this now for decades, the
yeah.
medical intuition and the mediumship all the time. And I didn't realize for ages that in my, let's just simple example, I would be working with a living client and a deceased family member would appear in the room. How I absolutely take that is that now I have 2 clients and both are just as alive as each other. So the deceased person is just as alive as my so-called living client. And so I treat everyone as a client. And some people have multiple deceased people that come in. They're all clients. And that's how I talk with them. That's how I talk with the living person. And I didn't realize I was doing this. I'm always looking to assist the deceased as much as the living.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I'm always, because many of them have not crossed what we call crossed over into the light. And I realized, and it took me ages to realize this, that I was doing healings for troubled deceased, is what I like to call them. And I love to help people take the fear out of this, because the aliveness in us is that spirit. It's our spirit. And so that's kind of what led me to it. I finally realized, wait a minute, I think I'm really helping out some deceased people. I better write a book about that.
Oh, I
And
see.
teach people how to do it also. Because most mediums, if you think about it, are they yearn to give accurate information to the living client. So they give information. So if the deceased person's talking, they listen carefully, and then they tell the living client what the deceased is saying. What I realized, I was doing that, but I was also taking it another, maybe multiple steps,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing a good closure to struggling people, a good closure or a healing for both the living and the deceased. And I thought, gosh, it took me a few years to realize I was doing that. And I thought, gosh, I better write a book about that. And so that's really my book number 6. I think it's my last book now, but that's
Oh,
book number
really?
6 is coming out. Yes, I think so. 6 books is quite a bit.
Oh,
That's quite a few.
okay. Six books. I guess. Um, so I wonder. So this will be your 6th book, and so for you, I know that promoting that book will be a part of your future. I guess. What would you like? But I guess thinking longer term. I guess what are you hoping your legacy is?
Ooh, you have really good questions that people have never asked me
Oh,
in all the interviews that I do. That's beautiful. My legacy. My primary goal, and I'm glad I've written these books, because they'll be lasting. They'll keep on, I guess, is my legacy, is to take the fear out of for people, to take the fear out of the non-physical for the living. They don't have to become mediums, but to be as comfortable as I am with a
mm-hmm.
foot in the physical and a foot in the non-physical, and not to be afraid, I can't quote the statistics, but if your viewers Google it, statistically, it's pretty high that the general population of the world has had some sort of experience with the non-physical world.
Yeah,
And I sure can't, remember what the number is or the stats are showing, but lots of people have these experiences, and they become terrified
yeah.
oftentimes. And I want to take that fear out of it and to normalize it for everyone. So I guess that would be what my legacy would be. I'd hope to be.
Taking the fear out of
Yeah.
connecting with the non-physical. I think
Yeah.
that's a noble goal, because we truly are, we're more than just our physical bodies. And,
We are.
and,
We are.
I am, honestly in awe of like what you're doing, and you're really changing the world in a very positive way. I wonder, I guess my next question is you've seen of um, a lot of transformations happen over the course of your teaching career, your career in healthcare, and I wonder if there's one in particularly that had a profound impact on you and how you practice.
Oh, you mean one of my experiences with the non-physical? Is that?
Yeah, yes.
Oh my goodness, I have so many. I've been doing this forever. Um, the one comes to mind is that, especially with couples who have a deep love for each other, and one of them passes. And this woman's husband had passed, and she was so distraught. And he came in very, very readily, and he hadn't crossed over. And here he was. Here's the first thing he showed me, and I told her. And he appeared in the kitchen, and I was seeing this in my mind's eye. And he was stirring a big, pan of something. And I told her that. And this is just simple things. And I said, well, for some reason, he's in the kitchen in front of the stove stirring a pot of something. And she burst into tears and she said, he did all the cooking. Oh. So see, it's just evidence for people, evidence. And so I told her what he was saying, and that he had a stash of money hidden, and she knew nothing about. I don't know why I'm telling you this one, but that she knew nothing about. And so he told me where it was, and she had that. And then here's the icing on the cake for mediums, in my opinion, is that I assisted him, and with the help of his living wife, to actually just lift up and out and cross over into the light. Now, that doesn't mean he's gone forever, but it means that he is making an advancement in his life, because I think a deceased person is just as alive as we are.
Yes.
But this way, once they cross over into the light, they have another level of learning and things like that. And they can come and go even more readily without a struggle. And so then he was coming and going occasionally just to check in on her, and I would help them with their communication together. I guess a simple example, but that's the one that popped into my mind.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you. And for anyone who's eager to learn more or connect with you, where can they find you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking that. My website is just my name, tinazion.com. And on there, if you go in there, you'll get I want everybody to have a little gift that is like 15 insights about really what intuition is. And so that's a little freebie if they want. And on there is also where I'm teaching live and in person. So I'm at Omega Institute in New York State frequently. And I have taught in all the many, many, many countries all over the world, which I just love to do that. And so where I'm teaching is on there, but also my books and where you can get them, and they're in print and audio and an ebook and that kind of thing, because I want people to really have them in any way that what fits for them. Yeah, so thank you for asking me that.
Oh, you're welcome. Tina, it has been such an honor having you on the show today. Your wisdom, your generosity, your insights into power of intuition, into healing are just truly inspiring. Thank you for sharing your story, for sharing your insights. And for all of you who are listening, please, please, please check out her website. She's doing amazing work. She is truly an inspiration. If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.